All right. Whoops. Let's go ahead and set it up full screen. So, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Personalized Learning with Cami. My name is Jessica Robinson. I'm a training specialist here at NARIC, and prior to that, I was a science teacher for about 13 years. Just before we start, let's talk about our data privacy. This is the sentence I always say. I think Susie and Marie, you've heard this how many times now? But when in doubt, check it out. So anytime you're using a new ed tech tool or even anything with AI in it, please just double check and talk with your admin and IT department, and just to make sure that it meets all of the DPA requirements. So Cami, when a lot of people hear Cami, they don't really think of it as something to use with accessibility with their students. When they hear Cami, they just think of it as a PDF markup tool. But I love it, and it's actually the number one tool that I recommend to all of my teachers and my special ed teachers because of its accessibility features. Now, actually, we're in the budget time right now. We're going over all of our tools and programs and softwares, and I've been telling all my teachers and my directors, hey, we could let go of Google Read and Write because Kami can replace that. Rather than having a student with just the one read and write extension and feeling out of place with that, you can use the Kami, and it also has an extension, and use it with all of your students. So it's not just singling out the students with the IEP, it's everyone, and we're building them up with all of the skills that they need because they all have access to those accessibility features. So what are some of these accessibility features? There actually are a lot, and I've tried to do my best to highlight here for you, but I am also going to try to show you in my demonstration as well. So that's going to be kind of what the layout's going to be. I'm going to just demo it for you, and then for the second half, I'm going to have you jump in and try it out yourselves. Now, just out of curiosity, how many of you have used Cami before? Have you used it before? Lauren, you've used it before. Susan, have you? How about you, Maria? Have you used it before?
Yeah, I have a subscription to it.
Okay. All right. So what I am going to switch out of this, and then I am going to switch into my other window here. So one of the things I love about it is its split and merge tool. So you'll have access to a lot of their free graphic organizers. So this is one of the ones I've used. And you can use the split and merge and just take bits and pieces out of different worksheets or packets, take out the answer key and just make your own customized activities. So one of the things here that I've started, one of the things I like to do in the beginning of the year is kind of create like my own Meet the Teacher graphic organizer, and then have the students, experiment with the commenting tools. And that's kind of a two-in-one deal where they get to learn how to use the commenting tools so they're comfortable with it throughout the year. But I'm also getting to know them during the beginning of the year. So I'm going to jump down real quick. Actually, let's see, what can I do? I'll show you the commenting tools first. So really, it's this part of the toolbar. This is really where I focus most of my attention to and where I send my students to. And if they are a little confusing, you could always just click on the little arrow expand button down here, and it'll come with some text to tell you what it is. So I go straight to comment. All right, so maybe this was a graphic organizer that one of my students created, and I'm going through it, and I can make a text comment. So I could click anywhere, and now it says, "Oh, I love dolphins." Okay, and also I love the other features where because they have the choice. So they not only can text back or make some text comments, but maybe if they're younger, they could do a voice comment. So they could also leave a comment and just press on the microphone. And it takes a little bit to show up. Sometimes it just starts recording. So just bear with me there. Where'd it go? Try again. There you go. And so then now it's already recording me. So if I could be any animal, I'd be a dolphin, only because I'm not a very good swimmer. and I'd love to see, what it looks like in the ocean. And so the students can, go back and elaborate on their answers by leaving a recording. All right. And the nice thing about this one is that you can record up to 5 minutes per audio or per auditory comment here. Then, and I'm gonna get rid of this part right here 'cause it's a little crowded. You can also turn on the closed captioning. So the auditory, when you click on this little white box underneath, you can have on the closed captioning. It will generate, it just takes a few seconds there. And so there's all these modalities that make it so accessible already. So we just did texting if they're comfortable with that. If you have students that are more comfortable, speaking their thoughts out loud, they can leave a voice comment. And while that's generating captions, I could also show you the video commenting. So maybe you're having them work on, some word problems, or maybe they're working on a science experiment and they have the option to either leave a text, an audio, or a video comment, and they could explain. Now, I specifically like using the video commenting tool because I do have teachers with deaf and hard of hearing students. So what they do is they use the video component to do sign language. So the students can do the sign language. The teacher can also record him or herself, giving the instructions in sign language. So mm, not quite sure if this is going to work because I have my video on right now, but we'll try. Click anywhere to make a video. So I'll do that too. Okay, I am using Chrome. Okay, so it's probably not going to do that because I am already using my recording, but it will make it. And same thing here with the closed captions. Uh, you can also turn on the closed captions in your video, so they have that added benefit as well. Okay. So with audio, they can record up to 5 minutes per audio, and with the video, they can record up to 20 minutes per video. So you could have many videos over here. So maybe you're doing a lecture, and then you can do your annotations for the multi step-by-step problem, and then you can also give a video of yourself on the side to kind of work them through some of the stuff. So that's just some of the things that I was thinking of when we're thinking about the commenting tools. So I really like that, especially 20 minutes per video. That's a lot. I don't really think I've seen a type of tool that has that kind of limit. So that's really cool. And it gets even better when you have students collaborating on that. Okay, so one of the other accessibility features that I would show is dark mode. So I'll just go to my initials or my avatar here. Right now we're in light mode. I know a lot of my students prefer dark mode. They like the high contrast. So that's one of the other accessibilities as well. And then let's see. Well, I'll share the feature controls later. So this is one of the graphic organizers that we talked about, but we could also add in media. So I've added some of my AI avatars and where I went, but we could also add in videos and screen captures as well. So some ideas that we would probably look at. So if we're looking at an elementary example here, I love that they have free graphic organizers and lessons and other activities in their Kami library. And this one here, even if they're young, pre-K to 6, and they might not be very good typers or readers or writers yet, they can still use the select tool and they can still, pupa, where's the pupa? Okay, this is gonna be embarrassing. If I take it right. But yeah, so they can still do the drag and drop activities. So they can see the picture, they can see the label. And then you can also have the student go back to their commenting tool, turn on either their voice comment or their video comment, and they can elaborate some more, right? So maybe the student might not be so proficient at typing yet. I mean, maybe they're kindergartners, they might not even know all of their letters yet, right? So the video and audio comment tools would be a great way to still get to see, if they're understanding and mastering that content. So these are some examples for elementary. Then if we go on to, let's say, middle school, right? And I tried, and they do have this stuff, but I try to make it cohesive. So I found a passage on the life cycle of the butterfly, and maybe with middle school, that's more of the thinking about the annotations, the reading, the marking up, and also some executive functioning skills, right? So when I think of middle school, this is really where I start putting a lot more of the graphic organizers for support. So let's talk about the markup tool. The markup tool is right here. This is your little pen tip. And you can, have students highlight and you could teach them, or I like to partner up with our ELA teacher and we use the same methods together. So it has that alignment. So they can use their highlighter or they can freehand it. There's a box highlighter. So maybe where's the main idea? That's a little light, pink on, oh, yellow on pink, but maybe I could change it and just make it to green. That's a little weird there. But they could change their colors. They could do some strike throughs, right? So especially in science, right? They're reading the science CBTs were out this last 2 months. So lots of reading passages in C. Arthur. So really getting them into the annotation, looking for the evidence and the reasoning. So that's how we would use the markup. Um, but the other thing that I think is excellent would be the dictionary and the read out loud. So I'm going to go back up here, and here's the dictionary. And they could click on any word. Oops, that didn't do too well. Let me see, butterflies. They could click on any word or highlight. And I don't know if you can hear this. Let me see.
Butterflies.
Were you able to hear that? Okay, cool. So with the dictionary, especially if you have ELL students or ESL, ENL, English as language learners, they could turn on or click on the dictionary icon and they could go to any word. Let's see, maybe this one right here. And they could click on the article
Caterpillar.
again. And then they could, let me try to pick a shorter one.
An
And
articulated steel band passing around the wheels of a vehicle for travel on rough ground.
okay. And then we notice that we have the caret down here because they have it in English. And they might also have it in Spanish, but let's see. Not quite. Not quite as strong in Spanish with their dictionaries, but it is available in English. Okay. And then my favorite also is the read out loud because sometimes, you just get a lot of text and it just really helps to have that auditory support as well. So they can turn on read out loud. Okay, and it will, if you don't select this particular spot to start, it will just start on its own. So you could play right here,
Butterflies go through several changes in their life cycle. Firstly, they start as an egg.
okay, and I could stop that. And then the students have the ability to change the speed. They could also change the speed. So I could go here to change voice, and maybe they don't like how the default voice sounds, but maybe we could listen to David here. So I could click on Microsoft David. We could change the speed or the pitch, right? And let's see how that sounds.
Butterflies go through several changes in their life cycle.
Mhm.
For
So this is all built in, and a lot of people who use Kami don't even know that it's there. So they're always asking for some other tool, like a read and write, or oh, can we download Speechify? Why, when you already have that ability built in into with Kami? So I really like those type of features as well. So, so we've got that. And then, like I said before, with the middle school students, sometimes they just need added support. So they might have a reading passage here, you know, um, and then I could go to add media and add a YouTube video. So this is what I did right here. I just embedded the life cycle of a butterfly as a summary. So now they could read it, they hear it, and then they see it. So now it's being repeated in at least three different ways. So the more they, encounter that, right, and the more they hear it, the more they see it, the more they read it, that information is now transforming from short-term to long-term memory. It's building up that memory retention. And, one of the things that we're noticing with this new science CBT, it is a very, very vocab heavy. So this might be one of those ways to kind of prep for that for next year. All right. Let's talk about high school. So I love their graphic organizers. They have tons. So one of the things I thought about for high school is, maybe some collaborative note taking. So, they might be, and there's also a lab sheet here as well. You could just, take some time to take a look at that. But this would be when I use this, maybe a lecture, and then they do some type of experiment, and then you share this graphic organizer out, and they have different roles. They break it out, they break among the roles, and then they go in and collaboratively add to it. And now the cool thing about it is they don't have just written text boxes here. They could also add a screen capture. So maybe they're doing a set simulation, maybe they're doing forces, and they did the ramp or whatever thing it was. So they could take a screen capture, and that's over here again to add media and screen capture right here is with the camera. And what's the other one? Actually, it's comment. Oh, screen capture is right here under commenting tool. So now they can show their evidence. They can have evidence with the screen capture of, I don't know, the skateboarder on top or whatever like that. And then they could also have an equation. There's the equation toolbar, and they could do the math formulas. Maybe they're doing, I don't know, speed, distance, or acceleration. I'm just now throwing science vocabulary at you. And sorry, I'm a science teacher. Once a science teacher, always a science teacher. So that is, the things I'm thinking about how I would use this to kind of help my students. So that would be one of those. Now, other things that are built in to help your students would be there's also some friendly, font friendly, I got that backwards, friendly fonts for dyslexia. So when we do the font, Alexand is always the one I use. That's one of the friendly fonts. And then they also have Open Dyslexic. So those are the two fonts that I always recommend if you have dyslexic students. That's easier for them to read. But anything that's more of an open serif or sans serif type, that's also easy to read. So those are the two. Oh, and then if you're grading this, right? I love that they have an annotation bank. So you don't always have to do the same thing over and over again. Maybe you're doing a comment, so we could do something like maybe they added their answer here, and oops, yeah, not a video. Let's do a text comment. And one of the things I always say is, "Oh, great job," and then maybe they're starting to get the idea, but I want them to elaborate some more. So elaborate this idea with 2 or 3 sentences. That's something I say a lot, or I always ask them to elaborate. But then you get kind of tired typing or copying and pasting this to, I don't know, 25 plus students. So you can click on this storage box icon, and it saves that comment to your annotation bank. And then you can get your annotation bank by toggling your sidebar, and it's right over here. So then you can just boop, drag one of the comments in there as well, so whenever you're grading. Um, and then stickers also. The stickers are a big thing for that they love. So you could do add media, and here's the stickers. Love the stickers. I love the little doggy sticker. So you could also put that in your annotation bank. Or if you have a Bitmoji, you can create a Bitmoji sticker which you're saying, great job, and then save it to your annotation box. Okay. So those are some examples of the accessibility features and how to personalize, make some of your activities a little bit more personalized for the students. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn on the collaborative part, and I'll throw it in the chat. So when you create something like this, you can go to the share button and then you can grab the link over here. And one of the cool things I love is that you can use feature control. So if you have younger students and they get very distracted, you can go in and select which tools that you don't want them to have access to yet. Right? So maybe if they're just learning how to use this, maybe I would just turn on the select tools, use the dictionary to read out loud the markup, but maybe they're not quite ready for the voice or the video comment yet, or the screen capture, right? So you can pretty much customize which features they have access to, especially if they're easily distracted, and you could slowly release that to their control. Down here is also really, really cool. You can turn off the copy and paste, so you can prevent them from going off to another tab and grabbing answers. So if you want them to come up with their own things, you could turn that off. But then, you have the option to have a spell check, voice typing, and closed captions. And then you can remember the options so you don't have to do that again the next time you share, or you can just customize it as you go. So in this case, I want to make sure you have all of it. Yeah. So you have most of it. I just turned off OneDrive or Signature because I don't really think you'll need access to that. And then I'm gonna grab that link and drop that into the chat. So when you get this, and you'll get this copy, and you'll get a copy, and you can print it off later on when you want. When you get to here, I'd like you to scroll down to this All About Me page and try out the commenting tools. And I'm just going to take this out of the way. Okay. So as a teacher here, I can see who's collaborating or who has access, right? One of my pet peeves with Jamboard was I really couldn't tell who was what, or they had really, really small initials, and I couldn't figure out who was writing the naughty things. So here, when you're using Kami, you can see who's signing on because everyone's here down here. And then as soon when they start collaborating and they're adding their answers, you can click on their names and all of their annotations will show up. So that's one way that you could filter through if you're looking for participation or you're looking for, their assessment. There you go. Favorite food, tacos. Oh, tacos with mac and cheese. That's intense. So you can use the commenting, the text box. Feel free to use the add media, right? And or if you want, you could use the audio commenting or video comments. Feel free to use the stickers as well. Love the stickers. Let's see. I'm gonna do. I'll go with you as well. I'm gonna do. It's my image. Add image. Google image search. While you guys are working on that. Ooh, gardening. Oh, so you can hover over this, and then I can see that Maria did this one. So there are lots of ways for the teachers to keep track of who's doing what on a collaborative page. You can hover over it. You can look down here. We know that we've got 4 people total. So we've got, 4 people here. You can see all your collaborators, and you can also see about their work. Okay? So yeah, gardening, my favorite color. Mm, I'll try a sticker this time. Ooh, okay. So this could be, a great icebreaker activity at the beginning of the year, or they also have some graphic organizers for end of the year student reflections. And the nice thing about it is you could do it as a collaborative activity like this, or just the way I did the share document, you could push it out where each one who signs in has their own copy. So like, kind of like when you go to Google Classroom and you push an assignment out and you can make a copy for each of the students themselves. So you can do that. And I also like that, you can also control the features that show up for individual students. So if you know that Johnny is just going to get distracted by YouTube, then you can turn off the YouTube feature for Johnny, but have the YouTube version on for Susie. Yeah, so it's kind of like the accommodation profiles. You could turn on certain things and turn off other things based on what your students' learning preferences or what they really need. Okay, so we've got about, maybe a 4 or 5 more minutes here. Down here, I gave you a graphic organizer of most of the tips or accessibility features that I've shared with you in this demo. But if you scroll down here, the last two graphic organizers, maybe just use the text box comment or audio or video. Think about your subject, think about your grade level. How do you see yourself using Kami and some of these features to personalize learning? Um, I'll give you about one or did someone say something? I'll give you about, oh, kitty. I'll give you about 1 to 2 more minutes to kind of, wrap things up with the teacher or that brainstorming page. I really love doing that one, the brainstorming page. It's nice to crowdsource ideas with other people, right? Yes, OCR, yep. So you can literally just take a photo with your phone of maybe like a scanned page, right? Of a textbook, and you can put in there. And what you can do is just go up here to menu and hit text recognition. And even though it's not a PDF, it's just an image, it will read that text in your image or your photo for you. So yes, thank you for bringing that up. So OCR is a excellent feature for that. Yeah. Okay. You have access to this, so feel free to go back and continue to try the t-shirt, try to add some more ideas in here about, how you might be able to use these different ideas. I'm also going to give you a link to my Canva deck. I do have other ideas and links in there, so you have an access to all those links. And then this is my exit ticket. I've learned this. This is actually a cool one. It's called triangles, circles, and squares. So what are some three key points that you learned from today's session? What's still circling in your mind, or what's squaring or resonating with you? So we have about 2 more minutes. You can, take your time with that. Even after I leave, you have access to this and you could add to it. And then those who are taking this asynchronously, you will also have access to this and you could add and try it out yourself. Two things I do want to point out before we sign off for today, though. Um, in my Canva, I did also give you an independent practice. So they came up with scavenger hunts. So if you're trying this out with your students, the great scavenger hunts to get them used to the different tools. And last week, the CEO of Cami just came out with some interesting updates. So I added his video here, but I'm going to show you how to make sure you get those beta features. So if you go to your account right here, and we head on down to settings, just scroll all the way down until you see beta features. And just make sure that you have Kami questions on. So that is a brand new feature that they have. And I regret that I didn't have time to show you today. But the new CBTs, they're now, they're using the technology enhanced items. You can scan a New York released exam page, and it will turn those PDF questions into an interactive practice question right on your page. So just make sure you have your beta features turned on. They are going to be rolling out 3 new features within the next few weeks and prior to the new school year. So lots of new stuff coming up with Kami. So that's how you're going to make sure you have access to that. Okay. So yes. And I believe that is it with us. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. You know, you've got my email address. Or if you're like Susan and me, we're always ending up in the same courses together. So reach out anytime if you have any questions or concerns, or if you just want to know, Jessica, I forgot how to turn on the beta features. Just let me know and I'll get right to you. Okay. All right. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful rest of the afternoon, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, Cheska. I'll see you next week.
And we'll see you next week too. Bye.
Bye.